Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you all so much for being here with me today. So in today's reading, we're going to be taking a look into what comes to your person's mind when they think about you. So go ahead and resonate with one of the three piles and we'll get started. All right, pile one, let's get into your reading. I hope you're doing super well, pile one. Hope life is going very smoothly for you. All right. Pile one. What comes to pile one's person's mind when it comes to pile one? What comes to pile one's person's mind when it comes to pile one? What comes to pile one's person's mind when they think about pile one? What comes to pile one's person's mind? The Ten of Pentacles. That's really sweet. Okay. What comes to pile one's person's mind when they think about pile one? Two of Pentacles. What comes to pile one's person's mind when they think about pile one, please? Comes to pile one's person's mind when they think about pile one, please. The Star and the Two of Wands. All right. Let's see. So with the Ten of Pentacles, I feel like your person, when they think about you, they really like to reflect on, I think, the stability and the sense of kind of like completion that you bring to them here with the Ten of Pentacles. That's like the energy of mastery. It's like all is right with the world. I feel like you make this person feel very stable and very secure. They also literally might think about the family that you guys have together or could have together potentially. They may sometimes think about, you know, how much they would like to settle down with you and live their life. Especially, I'm seeing with this old man particularly, it's like they think about maybe generations of, you know, children. You guys could have grandchildren. They may even sometimes think about growing old with you possibly as well. Sort of the beautiful life you guys could have together. With the Two of Pentacles and the Two of Wands, though, I feel like your person is also sometimes maybe a bit, I'm hearing like kind of stuck at like a fork in the road. Like they're having to kind of try to figure out what direction I think they want to take this connection. Maybe they have different things in their life that they need to kind of, in a way, like settle in order to be with you here with the Two of Pentacles. That is having to try to find a balance. So it could be like a balance between their work life and their home life. You know, they think that maybe they need more time to dedicate to you here. It could also be different choices that they have. It's like they can see that this happy life with you is something that they would like to have, but it may be that they need to maybe walk away from other things in order to have this with you, or maybe dedicate themselves. I'm hearing they need to mature as well. So maybe that's something that they do think about, is like, in order to have this beautiful family life with you, maybe they do feel that they need to balance themselves. And, you know, with the Star here, maybe there are things that they do need to heal within themselves. There may still be sort of like a spiritual awakening aspect to all of this, where your first person may feel that they need to kind of ascend in order to be able to provide you with this life here. And they may know that maybe they're at the moment they're still kind of struggling with themselves a bit. With the Two of Wands, though, I feel like they do definitely think of a future with you here. And I think with the Star, it's like they do have hope as well, that maybe if they do figure their life out, they figure themselves out, you guys could have this really beautiful connection that lasts, you know, a lifetime. All right, let's clarify a bit. Clarify the Ten of Pentacles. What comes to pile one's person's mind when they think about pile one? Clarify the Ten of Pentacles. What comes to pile one's person's mind when they think about pile one? Clarify the Ten of Pentacles. We have the Queen of Pentacles and the Page of Wands. Okay, so yeah, it's definitely this energy of kind of like inspiration that you give them with the Page of Wands. It's like they see all these beautiful possibilities with you here. And I feel like the thought of this kind of almost in a way very domestic bliss is like very exciting to them, which is very sweet. It's like they get excited maybe thinking about like the home that you guys could have together, or like I was saying, like children or grandchildren, or even just, you know, what your house would look like, things like that. They may get kind of caught up in their imagination like that. We also have the Queen of Pentacles, which is beautiful, and that makes a lot of sense. It's like they see you as somebody that would be a very loyal, wonderful partner. You are very nurturing, you know, like kind of the ideal companion. I feel like they know you're just a very high quality person. I also sense they feel that you are someone worth committing to, that like in an ideal world they would have this life with you, and that it would work out because you are, I'm hearing like you're very loyal, like you're trustworthy, like they know that you I'm hearing like you're very virtuous, like you wouldn't do anything to disrupt the family life, or that's how they feel about you, that you're just such a nurturing, like, good person, that if, you guys committed to each other, that they know that it would really last a long time. And you feel like a home to them, if that makes sense. Even beyond just the material surroundings, like being in your presence is like being home, being safe. You make this person feel like almost like a child, comforted, almost in like the arms of their parent, not in a weird way like that, but sort of in that way where it's like their inner child. What I mean is their inner child feels nurtured by you, if that makes sense. Like they feel that they can express their most vulnerable self to you, and that they're kind of secure in that. So I feel like what comes to mind is that you have this sort of just lovely, sort of nurturing energy that makes them feel like everything's going to be okay. Like, like a child may sometimes crawl into their parents' arms when they feel afraid or concerned. It's like you represent that sense of stability and security to them. Okay, clarify the Two of Pentacles. What comes to pile one's person's mind when they think about pile one? Clarify the Two of Pentacles. What comes to pile one's person's mind when they think about pile one? Clarify the Two of Pentacles. What comes to pile one's person's mind? The Knight of Wands. What comes to pile one's person's mind when they think about pile one? Clarify the Two of Pentacles. Clarify the Two of Pentacles. What comes to pile one's person's mind when they think about pile one? Clarify the Two of Pentacles. Okay, so let's see. So they do kind of, I feel like, get kind of in their head, and that's what I'm seeing here, is that with the Knight of Wands and the Ace of Wands, they feel a great deal of passion for you here. With the Knight of Wands, it's like part of them wants to kind of just ride in, charge in, charismatic and feeling very passionate about you, very, again, excited by you with the Page of Wands. And it's like they do want to just move towards you, I feel like, with a lot of just kind of like almost like rushing in before they even have time to think, and just showing up with a lot of confidence here. Like sometimes I just think about that because there's this intense, I feel like, magnetic draw to you. But on the other hand, we have the Queen of Swords, the Page of Swords, and then the Fear card. So it's like they're kind of caught between, like wanting to just rush in and kind of reveal themselves to you and maybe express their feelings and their passions and their desires. And then it's almost like they get scared, I feel like, of maybe your reaction, how you feel about them, even with the Queen of Swords, that, perhaps for some of you, they may not know how you feel about them. They may feel that for some of you, they may feel that you may be upset with them, or that you set a boundary with them here with the Queen of Swords that can kind of represent a sense of coldness that maybe they either perceive from you or they're afraid of. You may feel that you're very warm to this person, but it may be more their fear of rejection, that if they came in super hot like this, that you may be cold with them and say, they like shut them down almost, to be like, no, I don't want you. So that could be realistic or unrealistic depending on the situation. So yeah, a great deal of fear, I think, is what they're kind of balancing here. But it's like there is this part of them that just wants to jump in almost like the fool without any worries. And then there's this part of them that with the Page of Swords kind of wants to just hang back and kind of observe things and be more cautious and just kind of maybe test the waters more, like dip their toe in the water rather than just diving in, you know what I mean? So I think that's kind of what comes to mind, is this, they're kind of caught with themselves. It's like this internal struggle here. And you may sense that from your person. They may come across as hot and cold sometimes, maybe sometimes you do sense them just like running towards you, rushing towards you full speed ahead, and then sometimes maybe you feel that they do hang back, and I think that is this internal struggle. And I think they're aware of it too, which is interesting. Clarify the Star. Clarify the Star. What comes to pile one's person's mind when they think about pile one? Clarify the Star. What comes to pile one's person's mind when they think about pile one? Clarify the Star, please. Clarify the Star. What comes to pile one's person's mind? Eight of Swords. Clarify the Star. What comes to pile one's person's mind when they think about pile one? Okay, so yeah, I'm definitely sensing kind of two messages here from the Star as I was shuffling. So I feel like on one hand there is also this energy where you kind of outshine all others, and that's also the element of the Star here, is that you kind of are the star of the show in a way. Like you are just this bright point, to them, and you kind of I'm hearing like you kind of like dim the light of anyone that maybe they try to compare you to. and that you're just a very special sort of person, someone they really look up to. That does inspire them a lot, I think. But also this, I think, does have to do with this healing as well, because we have the Eight of Swords. I need to free myself from the fears that hold me back, which is literally what we were just talking about with the Two of Pentacles, that your person is aware that their fears do hold them back from coming towards you and really showing up with, really pursuing you with a lot of confidence. They do know that they are stuck in a lot of fears and that they do need to work on these if they want to have this wish fulfillment here with the Nine of Cups. You're all I've ever wanted, your wish come true. And I can kind of see that with the star. It's like almost like a shooting star, like wishing upon a star. They may feel that you are, in a way, a dream they had or a wish they had to meet this perfect person. And they feel that you are that, for them. It's almost like, but do they have do they believe that they're worthy of it, And that's kind of the test, in a way, like the spiritual test, is it's like you are everything they've ever wanted, but do they have the self-confidence to actually reach out and grasp it? And I think that's what they're really struggling with. Let's see. Let's clarify the Two of Wands now. Clarify the Two of Wands. What comes to pile one's person's mind when they think about pile one? Clarify the Two of Wands. What comes to pile one's person's mind when they think about pile one? Clarify the Two of Wands. What comes to pile one's person's mind? Oh my gosh, look at the Ten of Pentacles. Look at that. Again, Ten of Pentacles coming out twice. I want you in my life forever. That's what they think about. They think about, the future, the wish fulfillment of the happy home, the happy family, if they could just, free themselves from those fears that they know that restrict them. So yeah, they definitely are planning, I feel like, for a future with you here. And it could be even that they're like kind of waiting to grow up in a way, or to mature, and that like when they feel ready, you're the person that they want to maybe return to or come towards. Because when they think about who they're going to settle down with, who they even may marry or have kids with, if that's, something you're interested in, it's like you kind of always come to their mind. Like I was saying, like the star, it's like you shine so much brighter than any other option. It's like, I don't really feel like they, in a way, like I don't think that anyone else even comes close to you. It's like you're always the first thing that they think about when they think about this sort of family energy, who they're going to settle down with. All right, beautiful. Let's get some oracle cards now. All right. Pile one. What comes to pile one's person's mind when they think about pile one? What comes to pile one's person's mind when they think about pile one? What comes to pile one's person's mind? What comes to pile one's person's mind when they think about pile one, please? Beautiful. So we have this little Cupid and the rose. So very romantic energy. The Cupid says, love struck, obsession, crushing head over heels, falling for you, wanting to flirt. So yeah, they definitely, I can see that with the star. It's like they do have a little bit of an obsession with you. It's like you kind of, I'm hearing like you kind of invade their thoughts, or sort of like take over their thoughts, if that makes sense. So yeah, they definitely are very head over heels in love with you, and I think they think about that. And then we have the rose, love offer, beauty, romantic gesture, attraction, heart chakra awakening. So I think they do think a lot about offering you this cup of love, or this rose, this romantic gesture coming towards you, again, with all that passion, with the Knight of Wands. And you are very, I feel like, very sensual and very beautiful to them. I think they think about just how beautiful you are. I feel like you are exceptionally attractive to them, especially with the star. And I think, yeah, there is a heart chakra awakening here, where it may be that you just kind of came into their life all of a sudden, and then it was almost like an instant sort of, like with this Cupid energy, they just sort of fell very deeply in love with you. And I think they think about that it was like, it just sort of almost feels destined, the way that they just immediately sort of became like immersed in you and saw this future with you. They may have been someone that wasn't particularly always thinking about, who am I going to marry? What's my life going to be? But then with you, it's all of a sudden they're like thinking about growing old with you and settling down with you. And that may even be a surprise to them in a way, because they may have always kind of kept their options open and maybe never really fell in love to this degree, this hard. And that may be something that they think about. Let's get some more oracle cards. All right. What comes to pile one's person's mind when they think about pile one? What comes to pile one's person's mind when they think about pile one? What comes to pile one's person's mind when they think about pile one? What comes to pile one's person's mind when they think about pile one? What comes to pile one's person's mind when they think about pile one? Okay, interesting. So we have the increase. So it's like, kind of like with the Ten of Pentacles, it's like you are very valuable. It's kind of almost as, you can see there's this kind of beautiful sort of house in the background. So yeah, it's like they know that having you in their life would be like a treasure, again, wish fulfillment. It would be like all of their dreams sort of coming true here. Like you would add a lot to their life. But then it's interesting, we also have letting go and behind a mask. And it's like they know, again, with all the fears, they're going to have to let go of their mask. They're going to have to let go of maybe an instinct to hide their feelings, an instinct to hide behind this mask and maybe act like they don't feel for you, you know what I mean? They're going to have to let go of a lot of those fears that are, you can kind of see here, like sort of tearing them in different directions. It's like there's this beautiful magical path available to them with you, and it's like they know that, and so it's like they're realizing there's almost like these dogs here kind of represent those fears that are kind of tugging at them, keeping them stuck with the Eight of Swords, and it's like they know that they are going to have to let go and kind of surrender to this sort of love if they really want it to come to fruition. So I feel like your person is actually pretty self-aware of everything going on here. All right, get some more cards. All right, what else comes to pile one's person's mind when they think about pile one? What comes to pile one's person's mind when they think about pile one? Intuition. My intuition always guides me back to you. I know we have a special connection. So yeah, you guys may feel like you've separated and then returned to this person maybe a lot for some of you. You know, you may kind of drift apart from each other and then something always draws you guys back again. There's just this beautiful love energy between the two of you. Otherwise, even if this is like a newer connection and you guys haven't separated, it's like your person just feels like as soon as they met you, they felt very drawn to you. What else comes to pile one's person's mind when they think about pile one? We have mutual. The love between us is mutual. I feel the same way that you do. And I feel like for some of you, this could even be them sort of like realizing that maybe they have hidden their feelings a bit here with behind a mask. And it's like maybe they feel like they think about, you know, letting you know that they feel very deeply for you and that, you know, even if they are hot and cold, it's not all in your head. And then look at that. Oh, I didn't even see this. Look, truth. I want to be more honest with you about how I'm really feeling. That's what they think about, is like, I need to let go of this mask. I need to be more honest about how just, yeah, like madly head over heels I am in love with you if I want this future with this person. You know, they may worry that they may be hiding too much and you may, you know, leave them for that or walk away from them or, you know, not want anything to do with this connection anymore. That may be a fear that comes up for them, is that if they don't express this stuff, if they keep hiding, that maybe you will move on to another option. What else comes to pile one's person's mind when they think about pile one? What else comes to pile one's person's mind when they think about pile one? What else comes to pile one's person's mind when they think about pile one? What comes to pile one's person's mind? We have freedom. I don't want anything to hold me back from you anymore. So yeah, definitely those fears, again, letting go, they want that freedom here. So if there are any other, I guess like you could say like obstacles in this connection, like karmic energies, they want to leave those things behind is what I feel. We have nostalgia. I'm thinking about all the good times we've had together. I want to make new memories with you. So again, the future energy. I feel like they do get very nostalgic. For those of you that are in separation from this person also I think spends a lot of time reflecting on maybe when things were better between the two of you, because we do have this, it's so interesting, look at this, we have happiness, you brighten my world, your love brings me so much joy, and then sadness, I miss you so much, my love. So for some of you, this may be a longer term separation, and this person is very sad, nostalgic about happy memories. Otherwise, it's like maybe sometimes you just kind of slip into no communication once in a while, or there's like low communication, and I feel like in those times where you guys aren't interacting a lot, maybe when your person does disappear behind that mask, they do really miss you because you bring them a lot of joy. And then look at this, hot and cold. My heart says yes, but my fears say no. I feel like this is almost just a perfect sort of short sort of explanation of a lot of this energy I'm picking up on, is that yes, this person's heart says, yeah, I want you in my life forever. I want this future with you, but then their fears are like, shut it down and let's run away from this. So I definitely feel like they are trying to release themselves, or at least what's good is that they're aware that their fears are the issue, I think. Um, they have that awareness. So I don't feel like they're just sort of blindly necessarily like running back and forth. I think they know that this is an issue. Maybe they've had a lot of past relationship trauma or something like that, and that kind of keeps them stuck. And again, that's something that they know that they need to work on. All right, let's get you some messages from them now. Let's see. Oops. Just punched my lantern. What does pile one's person want to say to pile one? What does pile one's person want to say to pile one? It's a bit too many. What does pile one's person want to say to pile one, please? What does pile one's person want to say to pile one? What does pile one's person want to say? What does pile one's person want to say? Okay, let's see. We have, I want you, the beauty and the pain, everything you are. So they really do love, I feel like, everything about you. It's definitely not just a surface level thing. Like, they want to know, I feel like, you at the deepest level. Oh, look at this! You are my true home. My heart is always with you. Yeah, very resonant with all the Ten of Pentacles that came out twice here. And then there is divine light within us both. This is interesting. I feel like this is a message from their higher self. I think this is also them realizing that they are worthy of you and that they are a divine being and that deserves, goodness. For some of you, they may have struggled a lot. Sort of, I'm hearing like they kind of condemned themselves and maybe they felt that they were a bad person or an unworthy person, and that could have kind of caused a lot of these issues, is deep down not feeling good enough. Because with the star, I feel like you are a very almost like holy sort of person in this person's eyes, and they may have felt like, well, they're not, special like the way that you are. And I think now they're kind of realizing that, maybe they are also a special person, a worthy person. What does pile one's person want to say to pile one? I want to spend all day in bed with you with no interruptions. So also very romantic here with the Cupid. A lot of fire energy did come through. What else does pile one's person want to say to pile one? What else does pile one's person want to say to pile one right now? What else does pile one's person want to say to pile one right now? What else does pile one's person want to say? I've misunderstood things between us before and gotten hurt. So this person could be very sensitive, and they could have kind of misunderstood, taken things personally at times, and maybe that even caused them to run sometimes. What else does pile one's person want to say to pile one? What else does pile one's person want to say to pile one? And I miss you so much when we don't talk. Yeah, so when they kind of go into their cold energy and they may shut down and sort of disappear, they are saying like, sadness, I miss you so much. I love talking to you. I love our conversations. And if it has been a longer no contact, this person is really missing, maybe even the little sort of conversations you guys could have or have had. And that may be something that they reflect on a lot, is maybe times where you guys were more open with each other. There was more open lines of communication. All right, pile one, I'm going to get you a little bit of guidance now. What does pile one need to hear right now, please? What does pile one need to hear right now? We have Ascended Masters. Connect to the wisdom of enlightened beings and allow them to guide you on your journey. So for those of you where there's, particular sort of deities or gods or spiritual masters that you feel connected to, definitely you can kind of take refuge in them if you're struggling, and they will definitely give you really solid advice, for sure. What else does pile one need to hear right now? We have Dawn. A new beginning in love is on the horizon. Expect positive changes. So there is, I feel like, a lot of good stuff that's going to be coming forward from your person. I feel like they are working on themselves. Their intuition is calling them to you. So, whether if that's with this person or just, with someone else even, there are good things that are going to be happening. So expect those positive changes. And then Shadow, find the light in your inner darkness and forgive and heal the past. So this could be about the past with this person or just your own past. Is that maybe right now, if you are in separation with your person, this is kind of a time to do that shadow work, look at that inner pain and sort of nurture it and heal it. And then that will also kind of aid in a new beginning as well, if you're able to kind of transmute a lot of those shadows. That definitely calls in a way, like a higher version of yourself. Once you like kind of release that baggage, you can, create some really amazing things in your life that maybe the shadows or the fears were kind of blocking before. All right, pile one, I'm going to leave your reading here. It was lovely reading for you today. Sending you so much love, abundance, all other good things. Please take care of yourselves. I'll see you later. All right, bye-bye. Hi, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading. Hope you're doing super good. So let's take a look at your person and what comes to their mind when they think about you. All right. Pile 2. All right, what comes to Pile 2's person's mind when they think about Pile 2? Whoa, 3 of Swords, 7 of Cups. All right. What comes to Pile 2's person's mind when they think about Pile 2? What comes to Pile 2's person's mind? Queen of Pentacles. What comes to Pile 2's person's mind when they think about Pile 2? What comes to Pile 2's person's mind? We have the 3 of Pentacles, 5 of Pentacles, and the Page of Swords. All right, so also the Ace of Wands on the bottom of the deck. A lot of passion, attraction. You guys might have really good chemistry. So with the 3 of Swords and the 5 of Pentacles, I'm definitely feeling like you guys are most likely in some sort of separation from your person or emotional disconnect. If you are still, in contact or with this person, there may be sort of a coldness between the two of you where maybe you're not really fully connecting or seeing eye to eye. But otherwise, I'm definitely feeling like it could be no communication with your person. And so what comes to mind with your person is, I'm sensing with the 7 of Cups and the 3 of Swords, there may have been choices that they made in the past that maybe led to a lot of heartbreak within themselves, maybe within you, and led them to feel very abandoned, maybe by you. You may have walked away from them due to this. With the Queen of Pentacles, it's like, that's why they feel so out in the cold, is it's like you are their home, you are their nurturer. This person may have felt like you were meant to be maybe their future spouse, even is kind of a vibe I'm getting, or you guys were in a committed relationship where this person wanted that with you. They wanted you to be theirs, is almost what I'm feeling. And so it feels like a very great loss, I think, when it comes to you, because you are just sort of their ideal, long-term partner. And it's like, I'm hearing like they think about the folly of their ways here. It's like there may have been options to them. There could have been, other perhaps, just paths that they could have gone on, maybe other people, things like that. And it's like they were kind of blinded maybe by their ego or their fears, and it's like they didn't really clearly see what path that they should go on, and maybe they just kind of chose one of these cups and sort of went down that path, and then it led to a lot of sadness. I'm seeing here particularly this card, it's like you see the laurel wreath. This is almost like the ego path, like the victory path, but if you look closely, there's like a little skull in there. So it's like choosing that path does lead to, an ending of some sort, and maybe that's kind of what happened here, is they chose a path that did lead to the ending of a connection with you. So they definitely think about that with a lot of regret and a lot of pain. It could be a lot of tears with this 3 of Swords. They may think about you and just really ache in their heart space. If you feel very connected to your person, you may be picking up on this 3 of Swords energy. You may sometimes maybe they sort of like suddenly pop up in your head and you do feel that aching energy, and that could be you literally like telepathically like almost hearing them or sensing them thinking about you and maybe like crying or something. With the Page of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles, your person, it's like they're keeping an eye on you and they're thinking about you a lot, sort of maybe even stalking you on social media, things like that, but I feel like they are hanging back because they may be afraid that they have been kicked out of your, I'm hearing that they may feel that they've been kicked out of your kingdom. They've been sort of ejected or exiled here with this Five of Pentacles, and maybe they feel that they're not allowed to return, or they shouldn't return, is something I'm getting there. So you may have set up a strong boundary with this person, or even told them, like, you know, I don't want you in my life right now, or something like that, or that may be what they're picking up from you for some of you. And then with this Three of Pentacles, though, your person thinks about rebuilding this connection for sure. They think about sort of coming back into your life and maybe working things out with you, maybe communicating, could even be apologizing. It's like they want this strong foundation with you. And it's like they wish that they maybe could maybe tell you how they're feeling, or they could somehow fix it through their words or through their actions, and maybe you would let them back into your heart, or you would let them back into your life. But it's like I think they're aware that they would need to put in a lot of effort maybe to repair this connection here. They may be aware, that they really did maybe break your heart as well. And I think that also is just like a double. It's sort of like they're already sad, but then it's like, knowing that they've also caused you a lot of pain when I think they do care about you a lot. It just kind of adds on to this. It's like just all of these swords, you know what I mean? It's not just one, it's a lot. So they may be really hard on themselves as well about the way that the connection ended. They may really blame themselves, is what I'm sensing. Or if the connection hasn't ended, they may blame themselves for why things are maybe sort of uncomfortable between the two of you, if you are still together, why there is that coldness there. I don't feel like they blame you. With the Queen of Pentacles, I feel like they very much look up to you and think that you're very rational and pretty wise. They may even see you as being more mature than they are. With the Page of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles, they may see that you are sort of like above them in a way, kind of maybe more advanced. You may be older, or just like emotionally you're just more mature, or something like that. All right, clarify the Three of Swords. What comes to Pile 2's person's mind when they think about Pile 2? Clarify the Three of Swords. What comes to Pile 2's person's mind? Clarify the Three of Swords. What comes to Pile 2's person's mind when they think about Pile 2? Oh, wait. Clarify the Three of Swords. What comes to Pile 2's person's mind when they think about Pile 2? Okay, so clarify the Three of Swords. What comes to Pile 2's person's mind when they think about Pile 2? Okay, so we have the King of Wands, Eight of Cups, the Moon, and I love you here with the Ace of Cups. So yeah, that's why this person is heartbroken, because they still are in love with you, even if there's a separation. There's very, very deep feelings. I also feel like with the Three of Swords and the Ace of Cups, I feel like there is this deepening of maybe empathy as well, because sometimes when we are heartbroken, it can kind of come, we can kind of transmute that into compassion for ourselves and other people in a way, where we really get in touch with that inner pain, and that can kind of crack us open in a way to be, in a way, even enlightened sometimes. So yeah, there's a lot of deep love, and again, a deep emotional connection, which is why if they did hurt you in any way, it also hurt them, because there's a bond, I feel like a heart connection between the two of you. The Eight of Cups and the Moon. So this person is going on sort of a vision quest, is what I'm sensing, into their own complex emotions, their own subconscious mind. A lot of really deep feelings here with the Moon. Again, they may be crying a lot even at night, is what I'm sensing. Spending a lot of time on their own. It could be that they're just feeling very emotional, and they don't want to be around anybody else, because they may just be kind of in a whirlwind of a lot of emotions, or literally maybe just crying a lot and not wanting to see other people. But I do feel like this heartbreak is kind of sending them on this spiritual journey here. They are leaving things behind with the Eight of Cups. They are doing that shadow work. So it's like they're having to hit that rock bottom, but I feel like it's waking them up in a way. And with the King of Wands, they still feel a great deal of passion and desire for you. It's like they still have so much love and so much passion for you, that it's like it almost hurts, because they're definitely not over you. I'm hearing like even if they wish that they were, because they're in so much pain, they are very aware that they are still very much have all those feelings for you. I'm hearing that they would come back to you instantly if they could. Clarify the Five of Pentacles. What comes to Pile 2's person's mind when they think about Pile 2? Clarify the Five of Pentacles. What comes to Pile 2's person's mind when they think about Pile 2? Clarify the Five of Pentacles. What comes to Pile 2's person's mind? Oh gosh, wow, yeah. Clarify the Five of Pentacles. What comes to Pile 2's person's mind when they think about Pile 2? Clarify the Five of Pentacles. Whoa. Okay, so we have the Queen of Cups, the Love card, and the Five of Wands. Okay, so the Queen of Cups, I love your beautiful heart. And then the Love card. So again, with the Ace of Cups, this person misses you, and they have very, very deep love for you. They care about you quite a bit. They see you as a very, very wonderful person. Again, that's why I feel like in all of this, they don't have any blame for you. I was almost sensing the Queen of Cups, that they look up to you. They think you're wonderful. And it's like, that's why they almost place all the blame on themselves for this, because they just know that you're like almost angelic to them. I'm hearing you're very developed in terms of like you've worked on yourself a lot. And then we have the Five of Wands. There's a fight going on inside of me between my ego and my heart. And it's like they know that that's what caused this, that they maybe even self-sabotaged because of their own internal issues here. Like, again, they chose the wrong cup because they were confused, because they weren't following maybe their heart. And they know that they may have caused a lot of, heartbreak and confusion here. And they kind of led with their fears rather than what was really, calling to them, I think, truly. So yeah, and I do feel like there is a lot of internal conflict where they may be very hard on themselves about everything. But I do feel like they're honest with themselves, at least. Like I was saying, they don't blame you for this. Clarify the Seven of Cups, what comes to pile two's person's mind when they think about pile two. Clarify the Seven of Cups, what comes to pile two's person's mind when they think about pile two. Clarify the Seven of Cups, what comes to pile two's person's mind. We have the, wow, that's funny. Oh, Knight of Swords. Okay, so we have the Seven of Cups coming out again to clarify itself, which is funny. I'm making important choices. And then the Knight of Swords, I want to take immediate action towards you. So they do think about how, this is a very maybe important choice that they do need to make, maybe to return to you, even to rebuild this connection. With the Seven of Cups, I kind of see that as a spiritual test. It's like, again, it's like the universe sort of will present you all these options, and it's like kind of like, which one are you going to choose? Are you going to choose one that leads to your higher path? Are you going to choose, sort of a detour? What are you going to do? And then you kind of get the consequences of that, and then you learn from it. And I feel like now it's almost like they're kind of back at this place maybe where they do need to make these life choices, and they're definitely thinking about communication with you, returning to you. Let's see, clarify the Three of Pentacles, what comes to pile two's person's mind when they think about pile two. Clarify the Three of Pentacles, what comes to pile two's person's mind when they think about pile two. Clarify the Three of Pentacles, what comes to pile two's person's mind when they think about pile two. Clarify the, oops, a bit too many. It's this one. Nine of Pentacles, in my eyes you are perfection. So they again value you quite a bit. I feel like they sense that you are very irreplaceable to them. The Nine of Pentacles is almost like you're like a precious jewel or a precious gem, and they feel like they will never be able to find someone that matches you. That could be why they're also very instinctually like, I want to fix things. Clarify the Three of Pentacles, what comes to pile two's person's mind when they think about pile two. Clarify the Three of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles. Clarify the Three of Pentacles. What comes to pile two's person's mind when they think about pile two. Clarify the Three of Pentacles. Clarify the Three of Pentacles. And fear. Okay, so interesting. It's like almost as if with the Four of Pentacles and the fear card, it's like you, especially with the Nine of Pentacles, it's almost like maybe you do intimidate them quite a bit. And you kind of maybe do cause them to try to protect themselves because they may feel insecure almost in your presence. Yeah, so it's like they do feel this pull to return to you, I feel like, to heal things. But I feel like if they don't do that, if they're not taking that action, it is because they're deeply, deeply afraid of perhaps like being rejected by you. But I also sense with the Four of Pentacles, there's another message that they are in a way possessive of you, and maybe they are afraid of like losing you to somebody else, and that could be something that does make them very afraid that if they don't take this action and try to repair things with you, maybe apologize to you, that you will move on to bigger and better things, is what I'm hearing. There may be a lot of options that you have, or they perceive you to have a lot of options, or again, they just value you so much that they know that anyone would be very lucky to have you. I'm also hearing that anybody that you would end up with would hold on to you because you're such a high value person that if you got into another relationship, or if you are in another relationship, that person may do everything they can to keep you around, and that this person would have a really hard time maybe ever getting you back, because they may never have that opportunity again. Because it's like you're very much like, I'm with the Queen of Pentacles, you're very much like wifey, husband sort of material, and that whoever you end up with is probably going to want to like settle down with you. And so this person's like, in a way, like, that's my person, like I don't want to lose them for good, but at the same time I'm so scared of, you know, all this rejection. Again, they may be scared to come towards you because they know they've really hurt you and that you may be very upset with them. That could be an element here. All right, so let's get some oracle cards now. Pile 2. All right. What comes to pile 2's person's mind when they think about pile 2? We have the angel. Interesting. I was saying that you're also very angelic. Angelic protection, connecting to source, higher wisdom, receiving downloads, and patience. What comes to pile 2's person's mind when they think about pile 2? What comes to pile 2's person's mind when they think about pile 2? Heartbroken, yeah. 3 of Swords energy. Separation, agony, triggering, torment, pain, cracked open to heal, sadness, and crying. I'm going to get one more. What comes to pile 2's person's mind when they think about pile 2? What comes to pile 2's person's mind when they think about pile 2? What comes to pile 2's person's mind when they think about pile 2? And dizzy. Look at that. Again, 5 of Pentacles, or 5 of Swords. Confusion, internal conflict, overthinking, mixed signals, miscommunication, hot and cold behavior. So I feel like with the angel card, they do almost view you like an angel. They see you as a very wise, wonderful being. But I do also see with this angel card that it's like they feel that they maybe do need to connect to something higher. They do need to kind of heal a lot here. Maybe they even do like pray for healing here when they think about you. And they may also receive like a lot of downloads, maybe a lot of insights that are kind of divine, maybe their higher self. I'm also seeing that they almost see you as like a divine guide to them. Maybe you are you're on your spiritual path. Maybe you gave this person a lot of sort of higher wisdom. And I think now, maybe in the heartbreak, they're really reflecting on all the sort of important downloads maybe they received from you that may be helping them to ascend. So yeah, with this heartbroken, they also, of course, think about how much they miss you, how sad they are about the separation, or whatever's going on. They feel very, very tormented by it. I feel like a lot of mental anguish. They may, you know, be very anxious, very sad, really struggling sometimes. And with this, you know, they may kind of, with this dizzy energy, almost like stay up at night kind of worrying and thinking about this. Because again, there's definitely a strong degree of internal conflict, because it's like, on one hand, they so want to return to you, but on the other hand, it could be that they feel like maybe they messed it up too bad for some of you, or it's over, or they're not sure how you feel. So again, hot and cold behavior. If you guys are in some sort of communication, they may sometimes come through with like, yeah, sort of almost pursuing you. You may feel like they're opening up more, and then sometimes they shut down again. That's definitely due to them being sort of out of sorts within themselves, sort of unstable. I feel like this person has work to do on their own. I'm definitely feeling root chakra. There's an imbalance there, where your person may rely more on external things to validate them and make them feel safe and secure, and that could have led to some questionable decisions in the past as well, rather than being more trusting and led by like spirit, I think. All right, pile 2. I'm hearing like they don't know what master to obey, which is interesting. It's almost like the devil and the angel on their shoulder, and they don't know which one to listen to sometimes. And it almost is like they listen to they listen to different ones at different times. Interesting. Okay, let's see. What comes to pile 2's person's mind when they think about pile 2? What comes to pile 2's person's mind when they think about pile 2? What comes to pile 2's person's mind when they think about pile 2, please? What comes to pile 2's person's mind when they think about pile 2? What comes to pile 2's person's mind when they think about pile 2? Interesting. So we have the sacred temple. So yeah, you are a very special person to them. Great gratitude and playing it safe. So that's kind of what I was feeling with the Page of Swords, that it's like they kind of, oh, this is interesting. Yeah, you can see there's like this whole like fireworks show kind of going on in the background, and that's how they feel about you, is it's like all this wonderful, spectacular sort of maybe love connection that they do have with you, but then it's like they're kind of just keeping themselves stuck behind this gate, you know, kind of playing it safe, not wanting to stick their neck out and maybe get hurt. But with the great gratitude in the sacred temple, they They think about how sort of special you are here. They do feel grateful maybe for the love that you showed to them, for the wisdom that you bestowed upon them. They are grateful for meeting you, that they did connect with you. And with the Sacred Temple, it's like they know that following you would mean following their highest path. And it could be that it's like on some level they do feel called to that. Again, like which direction do they go? Um, and I think they know that they would have to do a great deal of work on themselves, and that maybe you do have very high standards in a way. Um, that if they wanted to return to you, they would have to um, maybe grow beyond their old ways, and they would again have to maybe like really prove to you that they've changed. For them, again, like I was picking up earlier, like they feel kicked out of your kingdom almost, like they feel kicked out of this temple. So to be able to return to it, they would have to somehow maybe prove themselves worthy, or prove that they've matured, um, in order to be maybe reaccepted into your life. I'm hearing like for you to trust them again, so that could be something they broke your trust as well. All right, get some of these cards. Pile 2. What comes to pile 2's person's mind when they think about pile 2? We have balance. I want to bring balance and fairness to our connection. So I sense that with the 3 of Pentacles, that can be about both of you guys coming together to create something harmonious. So they want to balance things out. Again, an apology may be in order. What comes to pile 2's person's mind when they think about pile 2? What happens to pile 2's person's mind when they think about pile 2? Inner child, I'm learning to love and nurture my inner child. So in this 5 of Pentacles energy, feeling very out in the cold and abandoned, I think they are having to sort of comfort themselves in this pain, in this heartbreak. It's forcing them to maybe actually rely on themselves for that healing. I'm sensing with the Queen of Pentacles, there may have been a dynamic where they may have relied on you a lot to fix them, if that makes sense. Like maybe when they would be freaking out, like they would kind of rely on you to take the pain away, almost like a sort of an unhealthy parent-child dynamic a bit, where it's almost like maybe you had to kind of step in and sort of, I'm hearing like resolve their tantrums almost, or something like that. Like they didn't know how to self-soothe, and they would kind of rely on you to do that. But it's almost as if maybe you've kind of said like, no, you need to do that for yourself. Like I need to take care of myself, like grow up almost, is kind of what they're realizing, is that they can't rely on other people to like make them feel okay. They have to do that for themselves. Pile 2. What comes to pile 2's person's mind when they think about pile 2? We have respect. I have so much respect for you. You are a beautiful person inside and out. So yeah, they definitely do hold you in very high regard. They respect you a lot here. They think you're a really, really wonderful person. Pile 2. What comes to pile 2's person's mind when they think about pile 2? What comes to pile 2's person's mind when they think about pile 2? What comes to pile 2's person's mind? Important. You are the most important person to me. Wow. So no one else really compares to you at all, and you are the most important person to them. And again, that's why they miss you quite a bit. We have emotional. I'm feeling so emotional right now about you and everything that's happened between us. Definitely with the 3 of Swords and then the heartbreak card. Those are about all those just really painful emotions coming to the surface, and they do feel very emotional when they think about you, and perhaps, you know, what went down between the 2 of you, what was said, what was done. What comes to pile 2's person's mind when they think about pile 2? What comes to pile 2's person's mind when they think about pile 2? Clarity. Through inner peace, I have found the truth of my soul. Interesting. So they are kind of getting clear at times. I feel like sometimes maybe they are confused, but I think sometimes they do get a lot of clarity when they are more peaceful, and then they see the truth about maybe how much you mean to them here. Let's see, pile 2. What comes to pile 2's person's mind when they think about pile 2? And date. I want to take you out for a night of fun and romance. So they do want to date. Yeah, with the Ace of Cups, they want to take you out. I think they wish that they could maybe ask you out. Responsible. I want to show up for you and make you a priority. And maybe this is something that they didn't really do in the past. Maybe they didn't really show you how important you were to them, or maybe they were, you know, in a way disrespectful at times. And I feel like they think about maturing and being able to show you just how important, just how worthy you are, and how maybe they wish that they had been able to do that in the past. All right, let's get some messages from them now. What does pile 2's person want to say to pile 2? What does pile 2's person want to say to pile 2? You are my true beloved. Beautiful. What does pile 2's person want to say to pile 2? I wish to spend eternity in your loving arms. Lovely. What does pile two's person want to say to pile two? What else does pile two's person want to say to pile two? What does pile two's person want to say to pile two? What does pile two's person want to say? I never wanted to hurt you. I was just in so much pain. So they were dealing with themselves. They were maybe lost, sort of in their own internal struggle, their own suffering, and they're kind of acknowledging, like, I never intentionally hurt you. It was just kind of a consequence of me hurting myself, you know what I mean? It could be self-sabotage. You are my bliss. Very sweet. Very sweet energy from your person. Let's see. All right. Let's get a message for you now, some advice. All right. What does pile two need to hear right now? We have fire. Rise from the ashes of the past and allow yourself to be reborn, stronger and brighter than before. So there is a kind of a phoenix rising energy for you. Maybe you're kind of being called to release this pain with this person and kind of mend and heal yourself and then sort of ascend. That could be something you're very much doing, is kind of transmuting a lot of pain into awakening for yourself. What does pile two need to hear right now? Okay, this one says magnetism. Your energy is irresistible. You are a magnet for divine love. So as you do all this healing work, you are very, very magnetic. And I feel like you are irresistible to this person. I feel like maybe other people are very, very attracted to you. Let's see. Your energy is very lovely. And then we have inner union. You are integrating and healing the masculine and feminine energies that exist within you. So you're kind of coming into this inner harmony and balance within yourself. And I feel like Spirit's kind of like letting you know that as you continue to do that and cultivate that, you are becoming a magnet for love, the love of your person as well. And you're kind of just, in a way, stabilizing yourself, where it's like you don't need the external, maybe masculine of your person. If this is like your twin flame or your counterpart, you don't need them as much because you're kind of integrating and really calling forth that masculine within yourself. It could also be, reverse it with feminine energy, depending on what you resonate more with. All right, pile two, I'm going to leave your reading here. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a pleasure reading for you. Sending you lots of love and abundance and beauty and good things. Take care of yourselves. All right, bye-bye. Hello, pile three. Welcome to your reading. I hope you're all doing super well. All right, let's get into what comes to your person's mind when they think about you now. All right, pile three. Pile three. What comes to pile three's person's mind when they think about pile three? What comes to pile three's person's mind when they think about pile three? Seven of Swords. What comes to pile three's person's mind when they think about pile three? What comes to pile three's person's mind when they think about pile three? What comes to pile three's person's mind when they think about pile three? What comes to pile three's person's mind when they think about pile three? Nine of Swords, Page of Wands, Eight of Wands. What comes to pile three's person's mind? Two of Swords. Okay, so I'm gonna get one more actually. What comes to pile three's person's mind when they think about pile three? Comes to pile three's person's mind when they think about pile three? The High Priestess. Okay. So I feel like your person is kind of I'm sensing a lot of like internal conflict here. It's like on one hand with the Eight of Wands, it's like this person definitely thinks about a lot of passion and chemistry and desire that they have for you. This is also about just communication and movement and action. But then with the Seven of Swords, it's like then I think a part of them kind of wants to like run away. So it's like when they think about you, it's like almost like Page of Wands, and I feel like their intuition here with the High Priestess sort of speaks to them and tells them like, rush forward, move forward, talk to this person, take that action, but then it's like their own fears sort of come up here with the Nine of Swords and then kind of make it really hard for them to make a choice here, is what I'm sensing. Because they do feel this like pull to you where they feel very excited about you, they want to adventure towards you, they do want to reach out, they definitely have like a crush on you. I feel like with the High Priestess there is a sense of maybe fate or destiny too, that this person does feel like their higher self sort of comes down and makes them feel like it's important for them to reach out to you due to like some sort of maybe higher spiritual purpose. But then I feel like their ego and maybe their self-sabotage sort of steps in here with the Seven of Swords, and they feel like they need to run away before they get hurt, really. So then it's like I'm sensing they may almost like prepare a text to send to you, or they might almost call you, or maybe admit to how they feel about you, but then it's like all of a sudden maybe they shut down and just sort of like hightail it in like the other direction, because it could be the vulnerability that they sense from you, or it's like the vulnerability that comes with this connection is very maybe scary for them. With the High Priestess, you could be in a way sort of just very psychic, very intuitive. Maybe you see through them, and that could even be sort of spooky to them, is that they can't really hide behind anything when it comes to you. And it may be that they feel that there are things about themselves that are unworthy or something like that, and that in order to preserve themselves, they may need to avoid this connection. And again, that's like very much the ego sort of being afraid of its own destruction, and like sort of causing a blockage towards this connection. Because I do feel like it is very spiritual. Like you call them to their spirituality in a way, like their higher self. Clarify the Seven of Swords. What comes to pile three's person's mind? Yeah, Eight of Swords. Clarify the Seven of Swords. What comes to pile three's person's mind when they think about pile three? Clarify the Seven of Swords. What comes to pile three's person's mind? So we have the Eight of Swords, the Four of Swords, and the Queen of Cups. And then, yeah, Nine of Swords on the bottom of the deck. A lot of really deep shadows and fears, I think, come up for them through this connection. So, yeah, I need to free myself from the fears that hold me back. It's like they know that this self-sabotage here is due to their own issues, and they know that if they want this connection, they do have to release a lot. With the Queen of Cups, I love your beautiful heart. They really do love you. They think you're a wonderful person. But the Queen of Cups is interesting. She's very ascended. She's very spiritual. And I've heard before that the Queen of Cups can kind of represent that you serve as sort of a mirror to your person. It's sort of like you are so kind of energetically clear that all of their shadows sort of come up when they confront you, if that makes sense. So it's like only very maybe high vibrational people are comfortable in your presence, and you may make people feel very uncomfortable that are not well integrated, that haven't worked on themselves. They may be very jealous of you, or they may just kind of immediately dislike you, but it's really because you make them feel sort of almost inferior or something like that, because your light is so bright that it makes their shadows sort of really obvious, and it may make them feel very uncomfortable. So you may find that here with the High Priestess, that you are so, maybe well integrated that you may make people that are kind of lower vibrational or stuck in lower vibrational energy sort of avoid you in a way, because it's difficult, almost painful to be around you. So with the Four of Swords, I'm taking time to heal and meditate. They may feel like sometimes they do need to kind of go within and sort of hide within their own little cave and sort of nurse themselves here. I also feel that because of your beauty, your compassion, your kindness, you're very much like a very angelic energy. Pile three, it's like you do make them reflect a lot on themselves, and I think you do sort of force them to heal those issues. Clarify the Eight of Wands. What comes to pile three's person's mind when they think about pile three? Clarify the Eight of Wands. Clarify the Eight of Wands. What comes to pile three's person's mind when they think about pile three? Clarify the Eight of Wands. What comes to pile three's person's mind? We have strength. Your love gives me strength and fills me with passion. So yeah, you do fill this person with a lot of intense passion, a lot of intense desire. The strength indicates very, very strong feelings for somebody. It also is sort of like I was saying, it's like you sort of as the very divine, maybe you're the divine feminine in the connection, or a very divine being. You sort of are like this, like in the strength card, you're like this angel sort of taming this person's ego. And that's definitely something that's happening here, is like your person's almost being molded and softened by you, but it may be that their fears and their ego do sometimes put up a fight, and it's sort of this struggle maybe where they feel like they do want to sort of give in and surrender to the love, surrender to their inner self, surrender to their feelings, their own inner feminine, deep, beautiful, lovely emotions, but then it's like maybe sometimes those fears come up again and then they kind of run away. Clarify the Nine of Swords. What comes to pile three's person's mind when they think about pile three? Clarify the Nine of Swords. What comes to pile three's person's mind? The Death card. Powerful. Clarify the Nine of Swords. What comes to pile three's person's mind when they think about pile three? Clarify the Nine of Swords. What comes to pile three's person's mind? Okay, so the Death card and then the Ten of Cups. So for some of you, there may be a separation between the two of you that may resonate. That could be something that they do really worry about. Other than that, I feel like if you guys are kind of, still in communication, or it's not, over between the two of you, I feel like this transformation is tied to like this ego death that's going on here, that there is this sort of dark night of the soul your person is going through right now that is shifting them into a higher vibrational version of themselves. It's like the old version of them is having to, like with the Strength card, the old version of them is being dissolved right now. It's being sort of washed away, but that can be a painful process while you're in it. It's like they're being cracked open like an egg or something like that, and like being reborn, but it's almost like, it's like how babies cry when they're first born. It's like very maybe shocking to come into the world or come into this heightened awareness, this depths of sensitivity, but it's very worth it, and it's like the first step towards being, embodying the real version of you. And then the Ten of Cups, you feel like paradise. So they do feel this sort of divine union with you. This is very much heaven on earth energy, the Ten of Cups, like the ultimate happiness, the ultimate happy union. And you do feel like that to them. And that's why they feel so drawn to you, because there's this sense of perfection and wholeness that they get with this connection. Like with the Ten of Cups, it's that beautiful rainbow. It's almost like you just light them up inside. Let's see, clarify the Two of Swords. What comes to pile three's person's mind when they think about pile three? Clarify the Two of Swords. What comes to pile three's person's mind when they think about pile three? Clarify the Two of Swords. What comes to pile three's person's mind when they think about pile three? Clarify the Two of Swords. What comes to pile three's person's mind when they think about pile three? Clarify the Two of Swords. Clarify the Two of Swords. What comes to pile three's person's mind? Clarify the Two of Swords. What comes to pile three's person's mind? Okay. So we have the Knight of Cups, the Ace of Swords, and then the Five of Pentacles. This is interesting. So it's like, yeah, on one hand, they do want to, like, one of the swords, one of the options is coming forward to you, showing up with all this love, emotional vulnerability, giving you their heart, being really honest here with the Ace of Swords, giving you that clarity and not hiding behind a mask, not hiding their feelings. But then on the other hand, it's like they're aware that if they continue to hide their feelings, that they kind of know it's going to lead to maybe a separation here, or maybe it already has for some of you. Five of Pentacles, life feels so cold without you by my side. So it's like they know that it's like they have this important sort of crossroads here. Like, do I come forward with the truth? Do I come forward with honesty and love and clarity? Or do I keep myself stuck and sort of abandoned by not doing anything, not taking any action? So I do feel like there could be a bit of stagnancy here with the Two of Swords. It's like there's a bit of a stalemate. And if there is a stalemate, your person isn't really coming forward a lot. They do feel, I think, very sad without you in their life. They do feel like, again, the opposite of the Ten of Cups, sort of alone and rejected and isolated. And it's like they just know that if they stay stuck in their fears, that's not going to go away. If they stay in this Eight of Swords energy of being trapped in their own worries and doubts, it's like they know that it's just going to be this perpetual sort of unfulfilled energy. Like they're never going to maybe have that happy family or that happy connection that they could have if they were braver. So I think that is something that they really think about, is there is this important decision to be made here. Do I take off that mask and stay and maybe potentially, enjoy this beautiful love with this person, or do I kind of sacrifice this connection to preserve myself, to preserve my ego? So definitely a person is sort of at the precipice of having to make that sort of painful transition to perhaps vulnerability, but it is always worth it in the end, I feel. So they are definitely struggling with themselves, I think. All right, let's get some oracle cards now. What comes to pile three's person's mind when they think about pile three? What comes to pile three's person's mind when they think about pile three? What comes to pile three's person's mind? What comes to pile three's person's mind when they think about pile three? What comes to pile three's person's mind when they think about pile three? Okay, so we have the mountain, the clock, and then the eagle. So the mountain says overcoming obstacles, character growth, resilience, putting in effort, and not giving up. So it's like there is maybe for some of you like a separation or some sort of emotional obstacles that they are having to kind of get through, that is kind of pushing them into character growth, into becoming a better person. But with this clock energy, there is an element of like divine timing, and maybe this person does feel like they do need more time to work on themselves. But this is definitely saying to those of you where you're unsure maybe where your person is, or if you guys are in no contact or separation, there is a lot happening with your person sort of behind the scenes. Even if you're not seeing a lot of evidence of this, like they're not literally like telling you what's going on with them, there is character growth and the emergence of a better version of your person happening, but it may be sort of hidden at the moment. We have the eagle, higher perspective, keeping a close eye on you, noticing details, gathering information, and watching. So the high priestess can kind of indicate a lot of secrets. So your person may be kind of sort of secretly sort of keeping tabs on you in ways that they can. They are gathering information here about you and sort of maybe gaining that higher perspective and maybe starting to really understand themselves better at this time. I feel like it's almost like they're watching and waiting maybe for the right time to come towards you. Maybe that they're still kind of stuck in this negative sort of energy. That's why they need more time. But eventually, I think they do plan on sort of taking some sort of action, especially with the eagle. It's like, the eagle kind of circling for a long time until it notices like the rabbit or something from a million miles away, and then sort of at the last second just kind of diving in and taking that chance. And I think that may be the energy of your person, is they're sort of circling you, like orbiting you almost, waiting for the right time to come forward. All right, pile three. What comes to pile three's person's mind when they think about pile three? What comes to pile three's person's mind when they think about pile three? Optimism. Interesting, courage in the reverse, but let's see. What comes to pile three's person's mind when they think about pile three? What comes to pile three's mind when they think about pile three? What comes to pile three's person's mind when they think about pile three? What comes to pile three's person's mind? And conflict. Okay, so with the optimism, it's like they do see this beautiful, bright future with you, I think. They do feel like you add a lot of happiness and joy. Again, with the Ten of Cups, it's like they see that you guys could have a beautiful, bright future here together. But there is this energy, like kind of with the Courage card coming out reversed, is that they do want to be this like knight in shining armor and show up for you and be brave. But again, there's like this inner conflict that's keeping them stuck. And it could be there's just a lot of conflict maybe in their own life, even maybe with external people. It could be that they feel pulled in two different directions for some of you that may resonate. But it's like there is this sort of like storm that's happening within them. I definitely see that with the Nine of Swords. It's like they're overthinking and they're anxious a lot. And I feel like in order to have the courage to take this beautiful step towards you, they have to sort of like, in a way, just kind of find that stability within themselves, that peace and harmony within themselves, because I feel like if they tried to come into your life at this time with all this conflicted energy, they would only bring conflict to you, and I feel like they definitely don't want to do that. They want to come in with stability and clarity, and so it could be, again, that's why they just intuitively know there needs to be more time before they're ready. Let's see, what comes to pile three's person's mind when they think about pile three? What comes to pile three's person's mind when they think about pile three? Spirit, I'm connecting back to source and oneness. Beautiful. So there is a spiritual awakening happening, I think, through this ego death, the transformation. They are connecting back to who they are as a person. Sadness, I miss you so much, my love. So you may be in separation from your person and they are really missing you. They are very sad. They have loyalty. I'm devoted to you. You are the only one I want. So yeah, this person is saying that you are the person that they see in their future. They don't want to be with anybody else. Let's see, pile 3. Let's see. What comes to pile 3's person's mind when they think about pile 3? We have happiness. You brighten my world. Your love brings me so much joy. Yeah, with this optimism. It's interesting. I think it was in pile 2 that the happiness and the sadness card came out at the same time also. So yeah, they think about just how wonderful you make them feel, and how happy they would be to spend their life with you. How it could be something so wonderful for them and you. What comes to pile 3's person's mind when they think about pile 3? What comes to pile 3's person's mind? We have mask. My fears made me hide behind a mask and live a life of illusion. And that's very much with the Seven of Swords, that their fears, their insecurities made them hide from you, hide from this connection, live a life of illusion. So they may have even gone down like a karmic path, which is interesting with the loyalty card. So for those of you where your person did sort of maybe go down a karmic path, there were other people involved. For some of you, that was due to their mask. That was due to this like kind of illusion in a way that they were maybe trying to avoid having to deal with themselves. And so they kind of went down another path, because I feel like you very much make this person face themselves, face their truth. Oh, look at this, exactly what I was going to say. Mirror, you reflect my darkness and light. I see myself more clearly through you. Exactly. Like, you mirror to them everything about themselves that maybe they don't like, all of those insecurities. And it could have been that they were like, they may have gone the easier path, so to speak, because they weren't ready to confront those shadows. Relationship, I want something serious with you. But yeah, they still want that relationship with you. They do want something serious. Let's see, what comes to pile 3's person's mind when they think about pile 3? What comes to pile 3's person's mind when they think about pile 3? What comes to pile 3's person's mind when they think about pile 3? What comes to pile 3's person's mind? We have secrets. I hid a lot of my innermost feelings in love from you because I was scared. Again, they were living that life of illusion. With the High Priestess energy, perhaps keeping a lot of secrets, keeping a lot of their innermost feelings away from you, locked up inside of themselves. Future, I want a future with you. I can't imagine my life without you in it. And this is so interesting. It's almost like the sense of regret, because it's like they only want you, they want this relationship, they want a future with you, and then maybe they feel like they kind of did screw it up because they were hiding so much that maybe you walked away from them or something like that. They do feel abandoned by you. And it's like they may know that this is kind of their fault, that they may have forced you to do that, because maybe you were confused by their actions. All right, let's get you some messages from them now, pile 3. What does pile 3's person want to say to pile 3? What does pile 3's person want to say to pile 3? What does pile 3's person want to say to pile 3? What does pile 3's person want to say to pile 3? Your love is irreplaceable. I know I will never find anyone else with whom I feel such a strong and magical connection, and that's very true. You are irreplaceable, you are very special, and they couldn't, even if they tried to like replace you or numb their feelings for you, they weren't, it didn't work really, is kind of what they're saying. What else does pile 3's person want to say to pile 3? What else does pile 3's person want to say? You inspire so much hope and healing within me. That's beautiful. So the Four of Swords did come out. You do inspire them to heal, I think. We came into each other's lives to teach one another important lessons for soul growth and healing. So that's kind of their higher self saying, like, whatever has happened between us, this was all sort of important for our own growth. And you may feel that you have also grown a lot through this connection. I forget about the world when we're together. You are the treasure of my heart. That's very sweet. So again, you are so important to them, a treasure to them. Sometimes I need space because this love overwhelms me and I want to be alone to calm down all these emotions that come up when we connect. Yeah, again, this mirroring is very intense for them. And so you may have felt that sometimes they would disappear, or they do disappear, and it's because they feel so emotionally overwhelmed that they just need to like deal with themselves. Again, deal with this inner conflict. No matter where I go, I will always bring my love for you with me. So no matter where they are, if this is like long distance or just where they are in the world, what they're up to, what they're doing, who they're around, they're saying like my love for you never really goes away. It's always there with me. And then I'll get you a couple messages from this deck. What does pile three's person want to say to pile three? What does pile three's person want to say? What does pile three's person want to say to pile three? What does pile three's person want to say? I'm trying to impress you every way I know how. I want you to think highly of me. So they do, I think, really respect your opinion, and they do want you to have a better opinion of them. They want you to think highly of them. And maybe they feel that they disappointed you even with their actions. And then you set my soul alight. So beautiful, beautiful passion, I think, that you inspire within this person. Definitely with the Eight of Wands. It's like they really can't help it. It's just like you just draw that out of them, just innately. All right, so let's get a word of advice for you now. What does pile three need to hear right now? Which one flipped over? Commitment. Your union deepens and evolves as you devote yourselves to one another and love itself. So interesting how commitment and relationship and everything kind of came out. So for some of you, you could be entering into a deeper commitment with this person in the future or near future. But I think this is also just saying like your energetic union with this person is deepening as you kind of devote yourself to the energy of love, to embodying the energy of love. Change. Powerful shifts are occurring for your highest good, so you may be going through sort of a rebirth yourself. You may be going through a lot of changes, and I feel like also just a lot of changes are happening in this connection, definitely for the best for both of you. What does pile three need to hear right now? And rain. Powerful emotional release is occurring at this time. Allow it to heal and transform you. So you may be spending a lot of time maybe working through deep feelings, deep emotions. This connection may be bringing up a lot for you as well through this mirroring energy. And this is definitely saying like don't repress those emotions that come to the surface. Definitely be there for yourself in that way. Nurture yourself through that sort of painful energy at times. You can sort of parent yourself, parent the inner child within you that may be struggling at times. So as you do that, I think you again develop this powerful bond with yourself, and that can definitely allow a greater sense of trust because you know that you will never abandon yourself and you will always be there for yourself, which can be really important, I feel like, especially for love connection. All right, pile three, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to leave your reading here, sending you so much love and beauty and abundance and healing. Please take care of yourselves. All right, bye-bye.